Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Oh, yeah.
Rev, you know, you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at
Yep.
that time, at
Yep.
Howard Beach. You
Yep.
were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair,
And
man.
you had the head on.
Yeah, it was.
Denzel,
Denzel.
yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut, so we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks, it's about giving, it's about gratitude, it's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We have to come with Sharpton phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer. Friday, March the 20th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. For the next 3 hours, it is Exhale Friday. Exhale, exhale, let it out, let it out, let it out. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's on in your heart, whatever is troubling you about what's going on in the world, or whatever you think is all right and people need to know about it. All you have to do is call me at 1-877-532-5797. Let me say that we are looking at some very serious times here. The White House is not backing up on this engagement in Iran, even though no one really can understand why and what we're there. Losing military men, killing hundreds of civilians, and still on the hunt. Israel killing and going after the heads of state there. The Trump administration has asked for, listen to this now, $200 billion, $200 billion to go full scale in Iran because the Straits of Hormuz, where 20% of the oil is transported for the world, is closed down. So they want to go now in a super engagement. This from the president that said, I put America first. Put me in, and I'm not going to any other country. I'm going to deal with America first. Well, not only is he not deal with America first, he's already spent somewhere around $10 or $11 billion asking for 20 more. And he's caused the Straits of Hormuz to be shut down. American oil is popping up price-wise. You have oil rising to $110. Goldman Sachs says we'll be in triple digits for years. The damage to key energy sites in Iran and Qatar, along with the ongoing military strikes, has pushed the global oil prices higher, with Brent crude rising above $110 a barrel and U.S. gas prices climbing in the highest levels since 2022. This is serious now. So this is not about, well, I ain't caring about the war. Well, you're going to have to if you're going to put some gas in your car. And the Strait of Hormuz chokes the global supply. And as I said, the waterway is responsible for 20% of the world's oil flow. It's not going to be a quick fix to this. Then you got a bipartisan talks that are going on to end the Homeland Security standoff, to get serious as it drags on. I was gone the last 2 days. Let me thank Dominique, my daughter, for covering me Wednesday when I was in Houston, and yesterday, Attorney Jennifer Jones-Austin did the whole show for me while I was in Kansas City. I've been on the road dealing with these issues, as well as drumming up support people coming in for the convention. But the talks are down. I can tell you, when I landed in Houston the day before yesterday, there was a line all the way out the airport, all the way across several ramps into the parking lots. I've never seen nothing like it. All because TSA workers are shorthanded. Many didn't come, so people are waiting average 3-4 hours in some cities. I was fortunate that it wasn't bad at LaGuardia, so when I landed, I saw the lines. And coming back, because the county commissioner is on our national board, he was able to get security in the airport to escort me right to the gate that I was leaving from. And it was a line, but not nearly as bad as it was the night before, because I left like 7 in the morning. Kansas City was not that bad. It is, and the reason I'm detailing this ain't just some foreign affairs, heads of state talk. This is people cannot travel. People that are not getting paid, that are working. And, of course, the oil supply is up in a tremendous increase in the prices of gas. Now we also see that James Comey has been subpoenaed in a Trump-appointed prosecutor's grand conspiracy probe. You believe this? They really gonna try to say there was a conspiracy to elect Trump to unelect him rather than 20. So they bring in the former FBI director under oath. And the Senate Republicans are still plowing forward on this Save America Act amid pressure from the right. Many Republicans have said they're not even going to vote for it. And let me tell you, I talked about this on the road this week in Houston and in Kansas City yesterday. And part of what you got to understand, this is going to not only disproportionately impact black folks, it's going to hurt a lot of whites, rural farmers in Missouri and in Texas will have to come in from their farms, spend money to get ID that they don't have. This is going to hurt everybody. Trump and that crowd is desperate to make sure that they cut down on blacks and browns voting as far as I'm concerned. But the overlap, the splash, is going to be on even white farmers. All right, so I'm taking your call. A lot to talk about today. 1-877-532-5797 or go to the message board. James Thomas has already gone to the message board and saying, I agree, there's no excuse to put Mark Wayne Mullen in the DHS position. Department of Homeland Security position that Kristen Noem's gone out of. This guy they nominated, I mean, it's almost laughable. But they're trying to put him in and may have the votes to do it. Evangelist Ramsey says, I heard in Florida, I believe DEI is not accepted and jail time is given. Question, is there such a few in New York City and consequences for violating I love my freedom and getting much older for jail time, LOL. She's one of our great actors. She ain't getting that old, but she's right. We got to watch what's going on. It is crazy. But what is crazier is we're not rising up doing anything about it. One of the reasons I was glad to get on the road a bit, though I don't like missing my show, but getting the feedback from people. People are listening. People listen to this show. People watch Politics Nation. They watch other things. Because people understand now that they cannot sit up there and be oblivious to what's going on. I wish they'd woke up or awakened before, or we wouldn't be in this stuff. But this is crazy. Every day it's a new chapter. Not even new page, new chapter. Trump's going this way, that way. I mean, I don't know how many of you saw it where they were asking him about why didn't other allies of the United States know about the attack they were going to do in Iran. And he's sitting in the Oval Office next to the Prime Minister of Japan. He said, well, they didn't tell us about Pearl Harbor. I mean, this man has no taste, no decorum. He's going to sit up there and use as a example the Pearl Harbor attack the Japanese did on the United States with the head of state of Japan right there. And they supposed to have a nice, cordial conversation, and he just threw a jackhammer like that. The man doesn't care. We got that. The question is, do we care about ourselves? I see the mayor is busy on the message board already this morning. He says, wearing sweats, everyone thought it was cool. Yeah, you're right, they did. Mr. Mayor Rodney Jones Mayor of Queensbridge Houses. All right, let me get ready to line up my Exhale callers. Exhale Friday. Lot to talk about. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or go to the message board at nationalactionnetwork.net. nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back after this break.
London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Guys, what's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We've got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive.
Yes, sir.
There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
Reverend Sharpton, how do we begin to make peace with our past?
I don't think it's our obligation to make peace with our past. I think it's our obligation to learn from our past and to understand that soon we gonna be the past. I mean, a lot of us act like we gonna be permanent and that the past is the past. If we draw on the strengths of the past and uphold the dignity and the integrity of our people, and then perform it at our highest level in our generation, as Dr. Moss said, that's our obligation. You know, one of the reasons that I've been so concerned about this cultural tone that we're in now is a lot of us have lost the dignity that our community has shown from Jamestown to now. I've questioned some of the artists that no longer sing to uplift us. And there's never been a generation that didn't use our music and our culture to lift us up. And the excuse is where they say, well, we just want to show what's there. But we never just accepted what was there. We always looked at what was there and looked through it and brought our people the way it needed to be. So in slavery time, we were singing Go Down Moses and Swing Low Sweet Chariot. We wasn't singing about the cotton picking nigga in the field. That's what we saw, but that's not what we sang. In slavery, in segregation time, we were singing We Shall Overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We wasn't singing the hoe in the back of the bus. So where is this coming from? And that's what we need to challenge. I wish, all of this about our friend Barack announcing today, I wish Obama had announced here, because Lincoln did not free us. The abolitionist movement freed us. Lincoln accommodated to freedom fighters. He was not a freedom fighter. Kennedy accommodated the king. Johnson accommodated the king. We got to quit giving the wrong people credit for our history.
Step forward and two backward. Well, here we are now. The problem is not Trump, the problem is us. We are allowing ourselves to be lowered and our children to feel inferior because you don't have an I am somebody person. You got our artists calling our women bees, our others calling us niggas. What happened to us? What happened to black and proud? What happened? I'm gonna vote. What happened? Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. What happened to
us? We have a young man in the studio who I think is an astounding young brother because of his youth. He's only 19 years old and he's accomplished a lot, and he's here to make a presentation to James Brown, and we'd like to welcome him warmly. His name is Al Sharpton. How about it for Al Sharpton? Al is the national director of the National Youth Movement Incorporated. Right, Al?
That's right.
And what do we have here?
Well, we come to break tradition. We know that in the recording industry that they give a gold record to those that achieve a million seller. But we view your million seller payback as a black record because it is relevant and says many of the things that young blacks have tried to say and could not musically express in our own little way. And we feel the payback is sort of like the theme song of Young Black America in 1974. Yeah.
Now, before you go into the title tune of your latest album, you have a special guest.
Yeah, I do have a special guest, a young lady.
That's going to perform with you.
Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. She just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special, special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president. But we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me.
I'm your host,
ago here in Los Angeles.
Reverend Al Sharpton. Is Exhale Friday. And let me say, by way of announcements, do not forget Saturday and Sunday. Please watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now, formerly MSNBC. I've got a couple of big surprises for you in terms of members of Congress and the Senate that's going to really deal with this whole question of the government shutdown, of the Affordable Care Act, stuff that you're not hearing every day. Make sure you watch both days, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And a lot of people, I was pleasantly surprised at how many people stopped me in airports and even in the streets, both in Kansas City yesterday and in Houston on Thursday, that watch Politics Nation. You need to watch it. You need to really, but this weekend, we're going to break some news. Make sure you watch it. You that in the New York area, I am looking for you in the morning at the Mother AME Zion Church, our Saturday Action Rally. We have some real things that I really want to share during Women's History Month, during this transition period from the House of Justice, and we'll start. We are just a couple weeks away from really announcing our new headquarters, where it is just getting everything in order. But be there in the morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Mother AME Zion at 137th Street and between Lenox and 7th Avenue. Now, let me say this. We are well over 8,000 pre-registered to the convention. And I wanted to close it at 5. I double up the size of the rooms and all. It's all free. I can tell you now, I've not announced guests, but I'm going to start announcing little by little. I will say to you today that we've already have confirmed to come and speak at the convention. And they'll either speak or do a workshop or do a fireside chat with me. We have the governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker is going to be there. Governor of Pennsylvania is going to be there. Josh Shapiro, the Congressman Roll Connor, who's leading that charge against Donald Trump in the Congress around Epstein and all, he'll be there. Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, Congresswoman Monica MacGyver. That's just a few. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson will be leading our scholars panel. Martin Luther King III will be there. Our ministers' luncheon, the one and only Reverend Dr. Howard John Wesley is going to be our preacher. Congresswoman Ayanna Presley will be doing our women's luncheon. I'm just giving you a few. There's a lot more coming, but I'm doing it in dribs and drabs, so you better sign up if you haven't. I done raised it now to 10,000 before I shut it off because we had to get bigger rooms. Last year we had 10,000 total. Now I'm going to have that many pre-registered. Why? This is a vital year. If we don't meet during the midterm elections, and you hear some of the members of Congress, and I got a lot more, Al Green is coming. A lot of our people will be there that you will hear, that you can engage. Some will be in the workshops, and it's all free. If you're serious at all, you'll be at National Action Network Convention, April 8th through the 11th at the Sheraton Times Square. All free. But you should pre-register to guarantee a seat. Now, you can try your luck and come without being pre-registered. And if there's room in one of the workshops or situations you want to go in, that's up to you. But to know you'll get one, pre-register at www.nationalactionnetwork.net or go to the toll-free number, 1-877-626-4651. I'm telling you what's going on in the world with Iran, with closing the Straits of Hormuz that is causing a blockage on 20% of the oil supply. Then you come to the United States, they're trying to pass the SAVE Act, which would bring voter ID back, which really will bring down our ability to vote. You see TSA lines around the corner where they won't pay people at the airports because they want to get their bills through and refuse to extend. Don't forget, the argument there is they refuse to extend the Affordable Care. Democrats say, okay, fine, let's have a standalone and vote to just supply the monies to pay the TSA workers, the Homeland Security workers, as long as none of the money go to ICE. We'll do that. No. It's got to be ICE and everybody in there. They're the ones doing this. Democrats say, we'll fund DHS as long as none of the money go to ICE. And as long as we can keep moving forward on the other issues. No, we want the whole DHS money, and we want it including ICE. That's what we're dealing with. That's why you got government workers got paid in weeks, people wrapped around the corner trying to go and travel or do whatever they need to do. All right, 1-877-532-5797 or message board. I see Wanda Mills says, thank you, Reverend Al Sharpton, for your outstanding leadership and dedicated service. Can you please advise what time the conference starts? Starts every morning, 8:30 in the morning, Wanda, and goes all the way through the evening. You can go to nationalactionnetwork.net. We're getting ready to post all of the sessions. I can tell you now, it's 8:30 to evening. In the evening sessions is mostly socials, for the members. But so figure 8:30 to 5 is all your speakers and your workshops every day. Good question. And I'm going to list the entire calendar or by the weekend so you can come. But register. And those that are registered, I'm going to send them their calendar. All right, let's take a break. And this is for us to educate and organize. This ain't you to come with some crazy conspiracy theory. We want to hear from those in government, question them, lock down a strategy. We're in too much trouble to be playing with people's fantasies. This is real serious. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Exhale Friday. Sharpton. Be right back.
Around this is so wicked. Now they're going to they released last night a memo that said that the FBI was investigating good. They're trying to come up with something on the victim. Not they're going to investigate who shot her. The ICE agent shooting in the head 3 times. They're going to investigate her. And you wonder why we need movements. You wonder why we need to stand up. Hakeem Jeffries was here Monday. Why we need to deal with this midterm election. Well, Reverend, I get calls on my radio show every day. Well, I don't see where voting changed them. Well, all right, let me tell you where if they lose the Congress this year, where it changes. The speaker would be Hakeem Jeffries, who grew up right here in Name, as he said on Monday. The speaker decides then the calendar for the legislative session. The chairs of the committees become Democrats. So the Judiciary Committee, now watch this in the barbershop. The chair of the Judiciary Committee, y'all saw the Judiciary Committee have the hearing and brought in the special counsel yesterday. Well, the chair this time, if the Democrats win, would be a Democrat who could then subpoena the Attorney General Bondi, all of the folks that were involved in January 6th. They can subpoena the vice president, all of them, because you've got the power of the gavel. Wonder why nobody has asked Pence how he felt running for his life January 6th. Well, if you get the Judiciary Committee, you can subpoena Pence.
This is a defining moment. As our world faces urgent challenges, the movement comes together. National Action Network's 35th anniversary and convention, April 8th through the 11th. Leaders, activists, and community voices united for justice and change. The moment is now. Be in the room.
King, Dr. Richardson, most of all, let me thank Reverend Al Sharpton for bringing us all here together today. The Urban Action Network. I am proud to be a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. But I am mindful that I wouldn't be here if it had not been for Reverend Al Sharpton running for president, and Carol Moseley Brown running for president, and Jesse Jackson running for president, and Shirley Chisholm running for president. They paved the way, and I stand on their shoulders.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
I celebrate the day you were born. You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
For over 3 decades, the National Action Network has stood on the front lines for our communities, fighting for justice, lifting up the voiceless, and showing up where it matters most. Presidents, world leaders, and global changemakers have all testified to Reverend Al Sharpton's impact and National Action Network legacy of good trouble in the fight for equality. This holiday season, our commitment grows even stronger. We're expanding food distributions, toy drives, and direct support for families who need us now more than ever. Stop right now and join the movement.
Well, Reverend, it looks bad now. Look at Iran. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. Look on. Yeah, but I was raised by them to realize that after storms, if we do the right thing in the storm, if we organize, if we register, if we do what we're supposed to do, there's always a rainbow coming out. The rainbow don't show until the storm is over. The rainbow gonna come out in November. The rainbow gonna come out in 28. We're gonna fix these tricks in 26 and march through the gates in 28. We didn't come this far to turn around now. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back.
That I want to end. He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
Don't take it back.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are.
You're live, sir.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. XL Friday, 1-877-532-5797. Let's end the week right by going to my dear friend in Chicago, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. I want to thank you for all you do for mankind and love you so much. And I've been missing action a few days because I had a death in the family and some water and structural damage in my home, but everything is under control now. And I would like to know, where is Mitch McConnell? You don't hear his name called. He has caused so much damage because he had a chance to impeach Trump twice, and he wouldn't do it.
Right.
And you have this so-called speaker, Mike Johnson, is shameful. He is like a puppet on a string. When they were sitting there talking about, I guess, another Republican that had some kind of surgery, and Trump made him speak it out. That is just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And these hearings are a joke, and the lies and denials are something else. And Pam Bundy should be held in contempt of court because she is a smart aleck along with some of the rest of them. They must take lessons in being disrespectful. And all of them are unqualified as far as I'm concerned. And how much money is Trump asking? Is it $200 billion?
$200 billion.
That is shameful. While people go without food, insurance, and the price of food and gas is high, he can't give you any answers because he doesn't know himself. And to speak of going into Cuba like he's walking down the street is just ridiculous. And I hear some say the Democrats are not doing anything. If they're not doing anything at all, they're certainly doing more than the Republicans. And thank you for taking my call. And you have a great weekend. It seems like we can't hook up, but we're going to do it sooner or later.
Absolutely. All right. Good to hear your voice. Sorry about the death in your family, but great to hear your voice to kick us off.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure, thank you.
Let's go to Mississippi to Joe. Joe, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Joe? I do not hear Joe. So let me go to Leon in Dallas, Texas. Leon?
Good afternoon, Reverend Al.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, do you remember when we talked before and I mentioned the Frontline documentary and the fact that there was an assessment that Iran was not an imminent threat? Joe Kent in the cabinet said the same thing. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I'm wondering, when is the American people going to stop letting Donald Trump manipulate them? It's almost like he's an extortionist, and it's as if we can't believe our lying eyes or our lying ears. And this is the 250th anniversary of United States, right? So I think the irony with that being the 250th birthday is the United States going to continue beyond Donald Trump, or are the American people going to let themselves continue to be made fools of by everything he's done? Every time he says something, it's a lie. Everything he does is chaotic. I mean, ever since he's been in office, it's been one chaos, one calamity after another, from Doge all the way up to now. And I'm wondering, when are the American people going to say, okay, we're going to vote you out, and we're going to make sure this election is legitimate, and we're going to vote the Republicans out of power, put some people in who are sane and competent, and correct this mess before it gets to the point where, I don't know what can happen next. What do you say about that, Reverend Al?
Phrase the question again. I'm not quite sure I understand what you're asking.
What I'm saying is, how long are the American people going to be lulled to? What's going to happen to make the American people take Trump seriously and actually do something instead of just complaining to each other? But when it's time to vote, they don't vote, or they're not aware. What is your?
Well, I think at best I could only be making a prediction. Do I think something will wake them up? The answer is yes. What it will be, I don't know. But I know that the way he is going, something's going to. You're already starting to see some people change. But I think something's going to happen that's going to also make a dramatic change. It's just like for years we were fighting police brutality, and we didn't know which case would ignite it, but George Floyd happened. And the whole world shook up. So it's hard for me to predict what is going to take to shake the American people up, but I have the faith that it will happen, and I think that's where it will test us. We're going to deal with that at the convention. What tests us is when you don't know what's going to light the fire, but you know that the fire is going to be lit, and you keep working anyhow.
Yes. And that convention, when I went last year, I wish I had the money to go this year, but hey, this is this year and last year's last year. Those conventions are worth the money and the time. Your convention.
Thank you.
And I want to tell everybody who's not planning on religion or not, they're in between whether they want to go or not, they need to go. And they need to support you because you're one of the few platforms where the general public can actually say something that might be heard by other people and inspire them to action.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we absolutely do that. You're right.
Yes. And so I just want to,
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. You one a committed person. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
Hey, good evening, right now. Thanks for taking my call. I'm going to try to keep it under 5 minutes like I normally do. I just had a little thing I read about a couple of weeks back about these in the Florida State Affairs Committee, they approved the daggone Charlie Kirk Day in Florida. And this black black Democrat person said the reason why he said they shouldn't acknowledge him and honor him, but they still, these foreigners or these other folks other than us was in there saying yes, 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 whether it was coerced into it or threatened into it. They got a Charlie Kirk Day in Florida for somebody who we know is not worthy of anything. So what they did is just so messed up. I didn't believe that, but that was one of the things I got messed up on. And then when you talked on the subject earlier today, you said, are they doing things? The president is not bucking Iran. When I saw an African man got on the internet today, I heard him say something about that. Iran have blackmailed all these Republicans, and they got stuff on them, and they better do what they say, or else they're going to let the cat out the bag. So I don't know if that's a part of it, because I can't see the 47 accident being so punked up to bow down, because he don't bow down to nobody. So therefore, they must got something on him, and they got stuff on a bunch of Republicans that they got them scared. And I think that's the whole nutshell there. And I just think they got them blackmailed because they won't do right. They're scared to do anything against Iran. They want to buck and be in Iran's backside. How about that?
Yeah, I think I don't know if they got him blackmailed, but I tell you, they got something, and it is very, very interesting to me. You're absolutely correct. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Wale in Harlem. Wale, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
How you doing, Rev?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Pretty good. Doing pretty good today. It's something that you had said that was truth. It was really truth, and our young people need to know it because, you know, my mother, I told you this before, my mother, she was a housewife, grassroots person, but people like Bill Perkins, Diane Lacey, Jacques DeGraff with the Reverend, what's the YT, all of them. All of them came to her for her to campaign, and they all got in. Everybody that she campaigned for got in office. But you know, Bill used to say, why don't you, you need to watch what your mother's doing and learn from her. But I wasn't interested. I was like 14 years old, and I was being clothed-fed, go to the park on the swings. That's all I needed. I didn't need to know about politics and how you could be a council person making 6 and 7 and 8 figures and don't even need a college degree. I didn't know all of that, and I didn't care. I still don't care. You actually, listening to you is helping me to realize, no, we do need to know what's going on, listening to you. But the main thing I wanted to say was, when you had said, Reverend Sharpton, that our parents, they struggled, you know, with the stuff that our people been through is, I can't even describe it. But when you made this statement that it's our duty as the children of people like my mother and your mother and so forth, it is our duty to become something in this world. We are obligated to make something out of our lives. Even if our parents and cousins didn't push us and all they did was took care of us and made us sure we was fed and everything, and didn't sit our butts down and say, no, you're going to study this today, a few hours. I'm not saying none of our people did it. I'm just saying some of us didn't get that discipline. Okay. So when you said that, it opened up something in my mind. And I said, okay, Wale, as brilliant as you are, you can't be sleeping. You got to get up. All this work that you're doing, you're going to City Hall fighting for this, and you're speaking on that, and all this kind of people know who you are. You can try to hide who you want. But I've had people have come up to me and said, no, we know who you are. But when you said that, I said, Sharpton is right. It's our duty to make something of our lives.
It's our duty. And Wale, just like you, people need to report for duty. You report for duty. And if you know it as a duty, you got to show up and report for duty. Everybody in Harlem and beyond know Wale. But why? Because you report for duty. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, XL Friday. 1-877-532-5797. Be right back.
Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton time. It's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. You need to keep it real with Reverend Al Sharpton right here on Uber TV. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. You know, every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton.
I do 1 hour on Sunday morning with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, to call in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
Happy 20th anniversary to Reverend Al Sharpton on 20 years of keeping it real. 2 decades of truth-telling, fearless advocacy, and keeping the people informed and empowered. Thank you for always speaking power to justice and standing firm for what's right. Here's to 20 years of impact and many more to come.
Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. We are in critical times. Healthcare premiums are going up, oil and gas going up, all kinds of things that are costing us what we are comfortable to or what we were getting by. That's why I am asking you to be at the National Action Network Convention, where we're going to have leading political figures, leading civil rights leaders, leading activists, leading faith leaders, leading youth activists convene at the National Action Network Convention, April the 8th through the 11th, where we are going to strategize, hear the plenary sessions, question, and come out with how we back up this whole retrenchment of our rights and our ability to live. It's not just about rhetoric. It's about a strategy and get results. That's why we in National Action Network have always been on the front line, and we need you with us more now than ever. To register, all of our sessions are free. All of our sessions are free. To register, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. Don't worry about how tough they are. Worry about how tough we must become. We never had a victory without a fight. It's time to strategize and fight back.
Voting rights. Everyone look here.
Say it again, Miss Pearl.
Voting rights. Voting rights.
One more time, Miss Pearl.
Voting rights.
There we go.
Voting rights.
Voting rights.
Voting rights.
Voting rights.
Voting rights.
When do we want it?
Now. When do we need it?
Now.
Yesterday.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
When do we need it?
Now.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
When do we need it?
Now.
I thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misuse them and listen to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are and why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke.
Sharpton.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. That Happiness Donuts is on the message board saying, I also enjoyed the Daughters of the Movement conference call Miss Dominique shared with us this week,
exhale, and that's good. I'm glad that you were on the call getting ready for this convention. And again, don't forget, you must try to be there if it's just 1 day, 2 days. And I'm giving out little by little some of the participants starting today. I'm saying that Pete Buttigieg, many of you remember he was Secretary of Transportation and ran for president. He'll be there. Governor J.B. Pritzker will be there. Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania be there. Pritzker's of Illinois. Al Green, the fighting congressman from Texas, will be there. LaMonica McIver, fighting congresswoman from Newark, who stood up on the ICE question, she'll be there. Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland will be there. Congressman Roy Conner, who's leading the fight on Epstein files. And Martin Luther King III, of course, will be there. Michael Eric Dyson's doing the scholars panel. And our ministers' luncheon. Our preacher this year will be the one and only Reverend Dr. Howard John Wesley of Alfred Street Baptist Church in Virginia. And that's just some of them. I've got a lot more. Billy Porter's going to be there. We'll get in the cultural war. There'll be a lot more. And you need to be there. All right, let's go to the phones and make sure you that want to register, make sure you go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. I've already raised the bar twice. This is the last time I can raise it because we literally going to run out of rooms. It's free. Just say I want to be there. I'll be there 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Don't forget, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton is going to be especially important this weekend, given this war, given where we are with TSA, and given what nobody's talking about. Affordable Care Act is still not extended. Premiums are going up. I've got members of Congress in the Senate and others in high analytical positions on this weekend. Don't miss it either day, Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm back. People talk a lot, so I know people. Rev Mal was out of town Wednesday and Thursday, so I don't know if he's going to be at the rally. I'm in town now. I'm at the office now. I'll be at the rally in the morning looking for you that are from Connecticut, that are from New Jersey, that are from right here in New York. Meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at Mother AME Zion in Harlem, Historic Church, Church of Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Paul Robeson, all of them were members there. Madam C.J. Walker's funeral is there. On this sacred ground, we've been having the rallies in our interim as we are phasing into National Action Network's permanent headquarters. And we're just a couple of weeks away from being able to tell you exactly where we are, and you're going to love it. Let me leave it there. Let me go back to the phones. Let me go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD, The Word. Disco Brian, you're keeping it real on XL Friday.
So gracious to be here. So happy you're back, Rev. However, your beautiful daughter, Dominique, and attorney Austin kept it so perfectly real. And so thank you for giving us such towering excellence in your absence. Rev, we've been paying, my wife and I have been paying $120 a month for health insurance through the ACA Pennsylvania Marketplace.
Right.
And in order to keep that same insurance next month, Rev, remember I said $120 a month,
right.
Okay? Guess how much it's going up?
To what?
$2,500 a month. So
Wait a minute. Let's go slow. Go slow. You're paying $120 a month now, and it's going up to $2,500.
That's correct, sir.
So that's like correct. Almost 25 times more.
It can't. We can't do that. So we've applied for Medicaid, and seems like it's going to take a miracle. I guess they've finally killed Obamacare. So congratulations.
People are not even talking about that. Brian, I'm going to do a whole thing on it over the weekend with these senators and all. They let this thing expire, and they're debating about $200 billion to deal with Iran and act like the Affordable Care Act is not an issue. It is expired. And imagine not only you and your wife, imagine seniors who have fixed income and can't make more money.
I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. It makes me, I just, Rev, I have a therapist who's keeping me sane, but man, and I love you, and this show is a guiding light in so many of our lives, but my Lord, suicidal ideation, it visits me often, and I know it does to so many others who call in, and it's just, we just got to keep holding on and keep praying. We have to believe. Rev, I have one more thing I'd like to say before I go. Joe Kemp is as racist as he is anti-Semitic and satanic. He's a neo-Nazi, just as is his friend Tucker Carlson, just as is their friend Elon Musk, who, by the way, is still the co-president. Elon Musk, who purchased Donald Trump's second term. We can't forget that. These Gentile, white, neo-Nazi men are the enemies of love, just as they've always been. But Reverend Sharpton, what is more horrifying to me, and what I hope will be addressed, at least in part, at the NAN convention, are these so-called progressive Democrats endorsing Plattner, who voted for Susan Collins 3 times, who publicly posted on Reddit to tell women who don't want to be raped that they shouldn't get drunk, who asked why black people don't tip, and who had a Nazi chest tattoo right up until he decided to get it covered up last year before announcing his candidacy and somehow earning the blessing of Bernie Sanders. And now, Rev, both Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona and Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts have joined Bernie's insane decision to endorse this man. I have been calling the offices of members of the Progressive Caucus ever since Bernie introduced this delightful bearded white man. Sorry, I don't mean delightful. I mean delightfully evil and horrible choice, begging them to draw a line in the cement and to break with Bernie and to stop this madness. And Rev, with that, thank you for keeping it real, and please let's fight this. Let's fight this fascism that is infiltrating our spaces. Bless you, brother. Thank you, Rev.
Bless you, and always informative and enlightening to hear from you, Brian. Let me go to Germany to Rick. Rick, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Rick?
Good day, Brother Sharpton.
Good day.
I heard your comments on us being in too much trouble to entertain people's conspiracy theories. And I would agree with that, but I would also ask you, do you follow CNN correspondent Bill Weir on the melting of the North and South Pole?
Oh, yeah. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a fact. Yes, he's done some serious work on that.
I would beg you, on your TV program, I think you have a big audience on the radio program, but an even bigger audience on the television program. I would beg you to have any black science person on to talk about climate change and the melting of the polar ice caps, because we're in for it, man. It's about the supernatural in terms of saving a remnant of humanity. We cannot save ourselves. We can put ships in orbit around this planet, but that's no more than 20,000 people out of 6 or 7 billion at the moment. I think the supernatural is going to have to get involved with saving us from ourselves and climate change as it evolves and melts the polar ice caps. Brother, I'm done.
All right, thank you for your call, Rick. And let's take a break. He put something serious on our mind. We better think about it. That is real. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say, you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor stayed right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich New Dennis, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, there's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are, because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
Reverend Al Sharpton. It is XL Friday. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart. Let's go to my Ace Boone Coon. I hadn't talked to him in a while. My Ace Boone Coon in Chicago. On the west side. He said it's the best side. I was out there a couple of days with Reverend Jackson's funeral and memorial and all, and I kept telling the people driving me that Frank told me the west side's the best side. Why y'all got me on the south side? But they didn't want to agree with Frank. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing okay, my brother. And I was there one of the days that you was there. I had to fight, run up hugging because I didn't want people to confuse while I was there. I was there like you, and they went on to play. I respected Reverend Justice Jackson Sr. It was beautiful. The whole thing was beautiful. Now, you ever heard from me in a while? Sure. But Reverend, tell you something. It was not my fault. I've been calling in. I don't know what's going on. Anything I try to blurt out will be pure speculations. But I'm just going to put it just like this. You just keep it where we go. We're playing games with the phone. It's not the brother who answers the phone. Like, I know his voice. Like I know my own voice, my own brother's voice. But Rev, 4 times I'm calling. I'm on hold for a whole half.
I got to check that.
It was 4 times. Reverend Al, I couldn't believe it. I get the line. I'm not a call in. I get open line, but the guy wouldn't come back and put me in the queue. I know you got called ID. So I just gave up. And I said, I'm going to try this 5th time. The 5th time, I just waited 20 minutes. I said, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a member now. That should make no difference. All of us, you know what I'm saying, call in.
Everybody should get through. I'm going to check that out.
That's right. I'm a member. I pay my dues. I love this man. I love the show, and I love being a part of anything Nan is part of, especially this show. But whatever it is, whatever you got against me, if I done something to offend you, I don't know what it could be. But I tell you what, I apologize. Please knock it off. Okay? But Reverend, now that was beautiful what we did for Reverend Justice Jackson Sr. Oh, Lord have mercy. And the way you kind of get a feeling, it was almost like a makeup for what should have been done with when we lost Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
I'm going to right there. I'm going to come back up today and say, yes, it is. Now I'm telling you something, Reverend. Now, we're not doing, when I say we, ain't talking about black people. I'm not talking about now. I'm not talking about MS now. I'm talking about the channel 2579. We're not putting up pressure on them. I mean, we should be down at a studio. So why y'all letting this man tell all these lies? You won't even go as much as Mr. President. Now you know it's not true. Okay. Domestically, we're not doing enough to stop this man. Not in Congress. We can forget about Congress. I'm talking about the people domestically and internationally. They're not doing enough to stop this man. I think the weather had a lot to do with us not hitting the streets the way we're going to hit the street. I think when the weather break, Rev, we should be massive. We should see massive turnouts.
Right.
Protests against this guy. I mean, everywhere. I mean, we talking Israel, we talking France, we talking England type of massive concert turnout. You know what I'm saying? All those people who did not vote back when this man got elected, all those people who voted for him, I bet you more than 3/4 of them, 1.5 of them, I said 3/4 of them, wish they had came out and voted. I hear a lot of talk about why the young leaders, new leaders stepping up. Well, they haven't hit rock bottom. It took us rock bottom to hit. We got tired of it.
Right.
Now, we're trying to keep them from hitting rock bottom. I mean, once you feel the full pitch, I would say we're like halfway there now. You should be waking up now. Lots of people are waking up. This man's going to try to do what he can do to stay off with these wars. I'm going to hop off, I know we got other people waiting to get on the air, but I've been missing my time on the air, so I'm going to stretch out just a little bit further. We need to push this like it's life and death, because this is life and death. And we need to go on social media. We need to educate our young people how government works. A lot of them don't even know the resources that he's taking away because they don't know the resources that we have. So we need to step up our education of our young and middle and elderly who don't know. But we need to put the pedal to the metal. We got to turn this around and keep this full force until election day. In midterms, full force, non-stop, Red. That's the only way we're going to wake up everyone who need to be woke up. I think those who didn't vote for him, didn't come out and vote, I think they woke. I do because too. Like I said, who did vote for, I think they woke. It's going to take more than voter Persian to win this time. I'm hop off right here now, Red.
All right, but let me say this before you hop off. I want you calling in. I'm going to investigate that. But let me say this, because you touched on something. You touched, I'm going to make sure it's straight now. But you touched on something that I talked about yesterday in Kansas City. We definitely need some of the young people and young leaders to step up. But it takes on both sides. What I said to them is similar to what you said about we couldn't take no more. You cannot say, I want to be a young leader and become the leader, and you're not even in the movement. How you going to lead an organization you're not a member of? So nobody going to come and break in your house and drag you out the bed and make you an activist. You got to be willing to do it. Many of us that are older got involved when we were younger. That's why we ended up in leadership positions. You can't stand outside of the movement criticizing and then ask why you ain't leading a movement you've never joined.
That's right. There you go. I can say amen to that.
All right.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for your call. All right. I definitely will. No, and I'm glad he raised that because we have a lot of young people, and you'll see them at the convention in NAN, and they've stepped up in leadership positions. I'm probably, me and one other guy, probably the oldest ones still on national staff. And these young leaders are in the movement, leading chapters, leading departments, but they're in. And it's those that are not in nothing. They ain't got to be in NAN. They ain't in nothing. Talking about y'all need to let us lead. Let you lead what when you're not even a member? You don't even know what to do. You don't even know what the organization stands for. So you really think that people are crazy enough to let somebody that has never been involved, never did nothing, no strategy session, nothing, and we just going to make you the head of the whatever because you young? We don't even know if you believe in it. So let's be real serious. Now, old folks shouldn't hold on too long, no doubt about it. Old folks need to make room, but they need to make room for folks that understand the room they're making for. That's like somebody standing outside the studio saying, I want to have a TV show. And I said, well, take my show. He never done a show, never been heard nothing. Just take. I mean, what we supposed to be, stupid? Let's take a break. Let's take a break. I think we're getting ready to go to break. But, I mean, I'm glad he had raised that issue because it came up yesterday in Kansas City. And the reason it came up is the Kansas City Urban League honored me with a difference maker award. And I saw all these young people that are part of the Urban League. And one guy talking about they need to make room for the young. I said, you see all these young people? Are you a member of them? No. Well then, how you talking about making room? They already here. You're not part of it. Some people are just divisive and some people just don't understand. Let's take a break. Be right back. XL Friday. Sharpton. Be right back.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good, because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
March in Washington. 62 years later, the dream is not dead.
I'm here because I must be here. Democracy is not there for the pig, and you have to fight for democracy. That's what it is. What Trump will erase, we will replace.
It's the dreamers in many cases have reversed and tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, in which they did DEI, started in Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, that ACP would have been together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation, then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in the South.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. We are in critical times. Healthcare premiums are going up, oil and gas going up, all kinds of things that are costing us what we are comfortable to or what we were getting by. That's why I am asking you to be at the National Action Network Convention, where we're going to have leading political figures, leading civil rights leaders, leading activists, leading faith leaders, leading youth activists convene at the National Action Network Convention April the 8th through the 11th, where we are going to strategize, hear the plenary sessions, question, and come out with how we back up this whole retrenchment of our rights and our ability to live. It's not just about rhetoric, it's about a strategy and get results. That's why we in National Action Network have always been on the front line, and we need you with us more now than ever. To register, all of our sessions are free. All of our sessions are free. To register, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call the toll-free number 1-877. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. It's XL Friday, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go to the message board and put a message in at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. I see Nazinga Masan Manuel saying, Rev, speak the truth. Your Detroit sister, as you know, today's your brother Spike Lee's birthday. It is Spike Lee's birthday, and in fact, I'm going by Spike Lee's little private birthday thing. He's a good man, a real activist, and I'm glad you brought it out. Thank you for that. Let's remind you again, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. I've been on the phone. I'm getting even more of those in the Senate and Congress on. Make sure you watch it tomorrow, Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You heard Brian talk about how they've gone up 5 times on his premiums. No one is discussing the Affordable Care Act. I need to pin that down on television this weekend. You need to be tuned in. Dealing with this $200 billion with a B that they want to spend in Iran while they're cut down on health care and will not deal with Homeland Security budget unless they can pay for ICE. This is outrageous. Watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And, of course, you that are in the New York area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem at the House of Justice is moved in temporarily to Mother AME Zion on 137th Street and Lenox Avenue. Mother AME Zion, I'll be there in the morning with a message for you. Make sure you're there 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 137th between Lenox and 7th. And you that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television or on live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net or on YouTube at YouTube/NAN. And we have thousands watch the rally from around the world, but you there in New York, you need to be right there. And, of course, the National Action Network Convention is going to be the convention of the year, not only because of what we do there, but what we're going to come out of there and do like we do every year. It's our 35th year. We're celebrating 35 years of NAN, and among those, I'm not giving all the speakers and workshop leaders at once. I'm giving you a little at a time. This is the first time I'm even giving you some. We have Governor Pete Buttigieg, Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois is coming to speak. Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania is coming. The Honorable Pete Buttigieg is coming, former Transportation Secretary and candidate for president. Congressman Al Green, the fighting congressman from Texas. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, one that stood up to ICE there in Newark. Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland from the state of Washington. The Congressman Ro Khanna will be there from California. He's leading the fight on the Epstein files. Martin Luther King III will be there. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson and Dr. Jamal Watson will lead our thought panel. And, of course, many, many, many more. I could keep going, but it's going to be A-list when it comes to movement. A-list. and you need to be there. And it's all free. All you have to do is register. I've expanded the room, so I've got some seats left, but register, because by the weekend it'll be gone, and I can't expand further because we're almost at capacity for these workshops. But these are people that are in power, can deal with the strategy, and we're coming out of there with a real active plan, not talking plan, not pie in the sky stuff, real stuff. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number at 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. Let's go to South Carolina to Cynthia. Cynthia.
I'm on the phone.
Cynthia.
Yes.
You on
yes.
there?
Good afternoon. I'm on here. I heard you screaming. How you doing, Reverend Sharpton?
I'm doing very well. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yeah. I want to discuss about African American preparing for emergency due to disasters.
Right.
In case we have food shortage. You see the people online for gas. Empty shelves in the store in case the electric grill goes out, in case disasters hit, flood, hurricane, or whatever. But we should have LED lights, gallons of water for each family member, small denomination of currency, non-perishable food, medication if you need it, toiletries, wireless battery charger, first aid kit, sleeping bag, documents in the Ziploc bag, battery-operated radios, and I have full gas tank, and a suitcase available in case you have to leave the home prepared.
I think that's wisdom, because the way we're going with stuff, that's wisdom. That is really wisdom. Thank you for that. I really mean that. Let's go to Willie in Las Vegas. Willie.
How you doing, Reverend Sharpton?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Just wanted to express my appreciation to you. I am 87 years old, so I'm probably about a little bit older than you are.
Yeah, a little
bit.
bit.
In the movement. And
wow.
I appreciate your history. A lot of people don't know about the history. I used to represent labor up in Alaska, up in Fairbanks, Alaska, for about 25 years. And at that time, when I was up there, I won the Community Citizen Award, just going out helping the people. But I got a lot of the people, like Rosa Parks, Reverend Abernathy, Martin Luther King III, all came to Alaska. And I think people do not understand, that we have to keep that history. If we don't keep it, we won't know it. These young people today don't know the value outside of holding on to the history. We look at the monetary actions of things, but see, you go back, to Adam Clayton Powell and all those people, that's my time too. So the one thing, being 87 years old, I can't get out and do it. I wanted to come to that convention, but I guess I am going to join the National Action Network, but I just want to let you know, hey, I'm pretty active, as far as sending and writing letters, trying to get people to vote. I call up and I text people, like in Texas, the week before when we had Jasmine Crockett, running. I text a lot of my friends, and I have two daughters that live in Texas, and I make sure that they get into the polls. So it's always something, that somebody can do. Because, I just feel so bad I feel stupid when this guy get elected because I thought we had a great candidate with Kamala Harris.
Right.
I thought we had a great candidate with Joe Biden.
Right.
Joe Biden did a hell of a, like he opened up the Wheeler Project, up in Alaska, and I know the environmentalists were angry at him. And see, if people don't know politics, they don't realize that some of your sleeping friends, some of the people in power don't come out and support the issues at hand just because they have a selfish situation. And we need to get away from that, because our people, the journeys that we walk on laid their life down for us. And I tell you what, that is my hero. My hero was people that really stepped up to the plate. I remember when C.L. Franklin,
wow,
Aretha Franklin, and Quincy Jones, went out and raised money for Martin Luther King.
That's right.
Hey, I look at these billionaires now buying these $35 million homes and $700 million planes. Well, you know what? Our prayers are being answered. We just not utilizing. We like to dry bone in the desert, after we cross the Red Sea. We just sitting around, not doing nothing. We done got our blessings, and I just want to say, hey, you up there, at age a little bit too. I don't want you to give up, because, there ain't no such a thing, as you're getting too old. If you know the history and you believe in God, God, hey, we had a young man. His name was Christ, and he went up on the cross. So, we still didn't step up. So how many good messages are we going to ever hear, until we come to the full? But anyway, thank you so much for picking my voice, and I appreciate you. I am going to join that National Anthem Network, and whatever I can do on this end, keep this phone number available. Give me a call.
All right, I appreciate that. I really do. That was a warm, and he says he's 87 years old, and still wants to be helpful, still wants to encourage and be a member of the organization. That warms my heart. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
But Reverend, it looks bad now. Look at Iran. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. Look on. Yeah, but I was raised by them to realize that after storms, if we do the right thing in the storm, if we organize, if we register, if we do what we're supposed to do, there's always a rainbow coming out. The rainbow don't show until the storm is over. The rainbow gonna come out in November. The rainbow gonna come out in 28. We're gonna fix these tricks in 26 and march through the gates in 28. We didn't come this far to turn around now. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back.
It's time for a new course, a new coalition, a new leadership. Somebody got to rise above race, rise above sex, a new leadership, a choice, a chance. Don't pride by what you don't have, use what you got. Everybody in town was scared of Goliath. We got more and more folk and fewer services. We cannot stop. We got to rise on higher. Little David. Little David. Little David. Took off his unnecessary garments. Little David. Didn't want to get weighted down with a lot of foolishness. Little David. Took what God gave him, a slingshot and a God biscuit, a rock.
Past hope, because I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare, And my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out. But she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said, you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Bishop Hilly is here. Faith is when hope runs out. Faith is the substance of things. Hope for the evidence of things not seen. Faith is when we were emancipated after 246 years of slavery and walked off the plantations with no education, no money, no future. And we built black churches and black colleges and black fraternities. We had faith. Faith made us stand up to the most powerful nation in the world and turn it around. Faith means we went from the back of the bus to the front of the White House. We come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He never failed us yet.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just wait. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
Rev, you know you were right there
from the beginning
with the stuff that was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. We've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself, Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question. What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair, man.
Yeah, you had the hair on.
Now, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut, so we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done. But it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with Sharpton phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
We have a short visit today. So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir,
It's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good.
Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying here?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when, exactly. That was exactly.
Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. XL Friday, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or go to the message board and you can send a message. Happiness Donuts sending me a message saying, you think Spike Lee will have buffalo wings at his birthday party? We will while watching March Madness. I'm going to ask him. Now, you know I don't eat that stuff no more, but I'm going to ask him in advance. I'm going to text him and see what he having at his party. I'm going to tell him inquiring minds want to know. We're joined, as we are every Friday for the last hour of the show for the week, by the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit and head of national expansion, the Michigan State Chair of National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend? I don't hear Reverend Williams. I do not hear Reverend Williams.
Hello?
Yes, you on?
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you now, yeah.
All is well, Rev. And it's always good to be with you for another XL Friday. You know, Rev, last week we experienced violence throughout the country, and I'm sure there's more to come, unfortunately, as we are involved in this conflict. But peace is the way, whether it's a college campus or whether it's a Jewish synagogue or a mosque or a temple or a church. We must continue to stand for the moral fight that Dr. King would have left us. You know, as you well know, as a student of history and a follower of Jesse Jackson and Dr. King, that Dr. King died as he was in the midst of talking about the fact that the Vietnam War was not necessary, and violence and war throughout the land is counterproductive. He said it in his speech to Drum Major Instinct. And as we think about now the violence that's ensuing on our continent and the bombs that we wake up to all across the country, as a civil rights movement and as a black community, when we know that a lot of African American young folks join the military to get a college education or to get some access to health care and benefits and pay and some type of craft or some type of service, we need to make sure we stand up for them. And so one of the ways that we're doing that is I want to invite folks to join us. I know we have panels all throughout the convention that'll be dealing with the international and the global perspective of human rights and not just civil rights. And so we want folks to join us April 8th through 11th to be a part of this conversation on our strategy and our way forward as a black community for the National Action Network National Convention. You can do it by going to nationalactionnetwork.net. Of course, you can call 877-626-4651. Let them know you want to sign up and you want to be a part of the National Action Network National Convention as we continue to keep this movement given to us by Dr. King and Reverend Jackson, heralded on by the Reverend Al Sharpton. Now we are the ones who continue to hold that baton.
All right, let's go to the phones. A lot of people want to exhale. Let me go to Alex in Atlanta, Georgia. Alex? Is Alex there?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going. How you doing?
All right, I'm going to be quick. I was on my way home listening to the show. I'm a long-time listener, but I never really called. And as I was riding home on my 30-minute drive home from work, I decided to, every time I got stopped by a light, to just write down something as a Democratic voter that Trump has done that I don't agree with. I started with ICE killings, the agents, climate control, books, education, history, job labels, certifications, tariffs, tax cuts for the rich, White House appearance, DEI, wars, gas prices, health care. Keep in mind, Reverend Sharpton, when I started writing this list, I said I was just going to start writing a list, and one day next week or something I might call it and do this. By the time I got home on a 30-minute drive, this is all of the things I thought of. Just stopping at light.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's profound. Wow. Thank you, Willie. Wow. Alex. Wow. Thank you for that. He just listed in a 30-minute ride. That's amazing. Let me stay in Atlanta with the one and only Sage of the South, Brother Jihad. How you doing, Brother Jihad?
I'm doing great, Reverend Al. And thanks for letting me exhale today.
This is the end of Ramadan,
Hello?
isn't it?
Yes, sir. Today we're celebrating this day today.
Right.
The first day of the celebration. Thank you very much. You're familiar with Brother Akbar Muhammad, right?
Yeah, they called me yesterday in Kansas City, his daughter, to let me know that he passed. Yeah.
Good. Well, I just want to let you
I know,
brother.
I know Brother Akbar when he's Brother Larry here in New York.
That's right. Larry 4X.
That's right.
That's correct.
That's right.
Beautiful spirit, just like you, a soldier to the end. You know what I mean? A beautiful brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just want to make sure you knew about that. So that's the first thing. And then secondly, and I must say that this is just me talking, and nothing to do with Reverend Al or the show. Reverend Al, and I'm exhaling on this one because it's on my mind all day. These people, they kill everybody. I mean, in Gaza, they kill teachers, poets, politicians, doctors, scientists. They kill everybody. Everybody. In war, we've never seen a situation where you killed a spokesman for the opposition. where anybody related to the opposition, you assassinate them. This is unprecedented. You know, Hegseth said the other day that Iran was responsible for all of the Americans killed in the Middle East for 47 years, even though Iran never had a direct conflict with America, period.
Right.
So his rationale was that they created that little bomb that blows up the tanks. You know what I mean? Where they had the ingenuity and the engineering spirit to create something to fight the opposition. Now, if he's saying that they're responsible for all the deaths of Americans through all the other groups that America was been fighting with, then we could say the same thing about America supplying the weapons to Israel.
Right.
If you're gonna expand it to that degree, you know what I mean? They have something coming on Friday, I think on CNN, called Christian nationalism. I think it's I forgot the little guy, that's the little rich guy. He's doing it. Now the two terms, Reverend Al, don't even match. There's no such thing as, how could it be Christian nationalism?
Right.
Where Christianity is not based upon your nation.
Right.
It's not based upon your nationality. You know what I mean? So this is how far these people have gone to the extreme. And I think that the FCC man the other day said, if you say something bad about the president or the war, we're going to take your license. This is unprecedented to the point where they want to even stop your opposition to the wrong, to shut your mouth to the wrong. You know what I mean? I just had to, this is just, we've allowed. Go ahead, Reverend.
No, I was going to say, you
people,
said you wasn't speaking for the show of me, but you ain't said nothing I don't agree with. Yet it is unfathomable in the history of wars, and I'm against wars, period. But even in history of wars, that you inadvertently kill everybody. Spokesmen, like you said, doctors, there's nobody that is immune from this viciousness. And this is unprecedented.
Unprecedented, and then want to kill us for talking about it.
Yeah,
want to punish us for talking about it. You know what I mean, Reverend Al? When these extremists, the Zionists and also the Christian Zionists, when they were just on the sideline talking about their conspiracies and stuff like that, it was fine. But now they're engulfed in the government. They're entrenched in the government. I mean, they're in powerful positions. And so no matter what people want to say, these wars in the Middle East are really, if you listen to Huckabee talks about, and he's an ambassador for the United States of America, he talks about how this particular war is divine and it's biblical prophecy being fulfilled. These are people in powerful political positions able to turn your military on people just on the myth of scripture.
No,
you know what I mean? Or how they interpret biblical scripture.
And misuse of a scripture. Because first of all, and I'm going to talk about that at the Saturday rally tomorrow. You touched on my message for tomorrow. How do you have Christian nationalism when Christianity or Islam or Buddhism are universal? I mean, it's a contradiction in terms.
Total
how do you say, and I don't want to give away all my message, but I'll say, how do you say go through all the world? How do you say go through all the world and preach the gospel, but you're going to reduce it to one nation, nationalism?
Right. One people. One people and one nation.
Obviously, you haven't read the Bible. Or at least you didn't read the Christ you claim to come in. And for preachers, ministers, Christian ministers, to be silent about that is consent. Silence is consent.
That's right. Totally. So thanks for letting me excel, Reverend Al. I appreciate it. Love y'all.
I appreciate that. Love y'all. Have a good weekend. Now, you know, Reverend Williams, we've got to really take that head on. Christian nationalism is an oxymoron.
Yep. No, it's an oxymoron. It's an oxymoron in the sense that the notion that we would talk about a Jesus that says turn the other cheek, but then we would promote a Jesus that would go yielding a sword. I mean, which Jesus are we celebrating here? Which one are we talking about? Which evangelical Christianity are we supposedly engaged in? Because right now, we can pray for our enemies, and we can pray that we against these folks, but for the most part, what I see when I see Hicksef get up there and say prayers, and when I see the Christian nationalists move this agenda, I see performance, not prayer.
Exactly right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you at Exhale Friday, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, Williams, keeping it real. Be right back. Keeping it real. He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
I'll tell you that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are.
So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We would go. Yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Right,
Our family was on the
plantation.
Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine.
Good. Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Shaw. How many slaves were staying here?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly.
I just the two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road. I went over his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket. From South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people come too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started Brevard.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about him in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and him pushed the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 45, because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you got to listen to me. But I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves.
You're laughing.
Why am I saying that? Because
keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams II is our co-host. It's XL Friday, and you can call in. We have 2 segments left. You can still get a call in at 1-877-532-5797 and 1-877-532-5797. I see Tanya on the message board. Tanya Stovall says, praying that the SAVE Act gets buried and does not pass the Senate. It would affect millions of voters, suppression of voting. You're exactly right. I'm going to really deal with that this weekend on Politics Nation. I don't think people understand the gravity of that. They are talking about, let me tell you, it's a poll tax. I was on somebody's show last week. If a person has to go get a passport, you're talking about between $100, $200. You're talking about people that have to get other kinds of ID. It costs the same. People, particularly seniors with fixed incomes, but just regular people don't have $200, $300. So they're pricing you out of getting the ID they want required. And why? Because that's exactly what they want to do, and it disproportionately affects our community. And we need to make sure, that's why I'm going to concentrate a lot on that this weekend, make sure that these senators and governors and everybody that's up for office know that if they don't block that act, we are going to come down with a vengeance. This is the revoking of the Voting Rights Act of 65. We already are sitting on pins and needles wondering if the Supreme Court's going to take out Section 2. They're trying to have it both ways. If one doesn't happen, they neutralize us the other way. We cannot let that act go through. Let's go, Reverend Williams, to John in Wisconsin. John?
Good afternoon, Reverend Al.
Good afternoon.
I want to thank you for everything you do for not just America, but for the world, because of your global influence around the world, for the righteous things that you do.
Thank you.
Reverend Al, I'm a non-religious person, and when I heard you talking about Christian nationalism and what it is, now, me being a non-religious person, I'm looking at how they are truly defining it, Trump and his administration, with the help of the so-called evangelicals.
Yeah.
And what I see is vileness and insensitivity to others, which you mentioned before, immorality to ICE and the killings that ICE has done, which they want to continue. The Republican Party has said they don't want any changes to ICE, so they want them to continue wearing masks and terrorizing our neighborhoods. In their inhumaneness to mankind, their greed and corruption, their lawlessness with no concern for the laws, extortions. If you don't agree with us, or worse, we will lock you up and put you in prison. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the vile things that they're using to define themselves. As I see it, this is their Christian nationalism. And they're putting it right in front of our face.
This is and really in many ways, it is white supremacy that they're dressing up, calling it Christian nationalism, because it has nothing to do with Christianity, nothing to do with the tenets of Christ, whether one's religious or not. One knows what Christ preached. And this, where you said something that is extremely important, John, is that those that are supposed to be the Christian right, the fact that they have laryngitis, they are co-signing the distortion of their what they claim to be their faith, because their faith doesn't say that.
That's exactly, and that's why I said it, because where are the evangelicals now? They were all out there when he was running again,
right?
About he'll be a great president and everything, and all of a sudden, like you say, they got laryngitis. because they endorse everything that he's doing, or else they would stand up and say, hey, this is wrong. This is not Christianity. And so they want their piece of white supremacy. And you know what it makes me think about, Rev? It makes me think about those missionaries that they sent to Africa,
right?
And brainwashed our people over there, and as well as tried to brainwash us here. The way they did the Indians in the boarding schools, all in the name of Christ. You know, so I mean, this has been their MO since the beginning of America, and this is where we are. And now they're not ashamed of it being out there in front, and they don't care. But what we've got to do is we got to vote these jokers out of office, get rid of them, and put some sanity back in America. Because right now, if you look at it, America right now under Trump looks exactly like his 7 bankruptcies. Just total chaos.
Total chaos.
Total chaos everywhere. It looks just like his 7 bankruptcy.
Wow.
Anytime you can go bankrupt 7 times, that's a life of total chaos. And now he's putting that life of chaos on us while him and his family rake in billions. I mean, I hope there's a paper trail when we can get him out of office so that the government can go after him and his family.
No,
because they're raking in billions.
This is absolutely
And one more thing I want to say, Rev, is how ironic is it that he's blowing up Iran's oil fields and stuff. Then he makes a deal with Russia to sell Iran's oil that Russia gets from Iran to us, and you know he done took some money off the top of that deal too.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what he does. I mean, how crazy is this?
Why would you be blowing up oil in Iran, dealing with Putin, who you're supposed to be fighting over Ukraine, to buy the same oil indirectly, and we supposed to be stupid enough to not know that there's some chicanery that always seemed to be going on between Putin and him. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call. And I think that...
Thank you, Rev.
All right. I think that we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. We are in critical times. Healthcare premiums are going up, oil and gas going up, all kinds of things that are costing us what we are comfortable to or what we were getting by. That's why I am asking you to be at the National Action Network Convention, where we're going to have leading political figures, leading civil rights leaders, leading activists, leading faith leaders, leading youth activists convene at the National Action Network Convention, April the 8th through the 11th, where we are going to strategize, hear the plenary sessions, question, and come out with how we back up this whole retrenchment of our rights and our ability to live. It's not just about rhetoric. It's about a strategy and get results. That's why we in National Action Network have always been on the front line, and we need you with us more now than ever. To register, all of our sessions are free. All of our sessions are free. To register, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. Don't worry about how tough they are. Worry about how tough we must become. We never had a victory without a fight. It's time to strategize and fight back.
Voting rights!
Voting rights.
Everyone look here.
Say it again, Miss Pearl.
Voting rights!
Voting rights.
One more time, Miss Pearl.
Voting rights!
There we go.
Voting rights.
Voting rights!
Voting rights.
Voting rights!
Voting rights.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we need it? Now!
Yesterday.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
When do we need it?
Now.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
When do we need it?
Now.
hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive on tomorrow night and beyond. Young America, hold your head high now. We can win. You must never stop dreaming. Face reality, yes, but don't stop with the way things are. Dream of things as they ought to be. Dream. Face pain, but love, hope, faith, and dreams will help you rise above the pain. Use hope and imagination as weapons of survival and progress, but you keep on dreaming, young America. Dream of peace. Peace is rational and reasonable. War is irrational in this age and unwinnable. Dream of teachers who teach for life and not for living. Dream of doctors who are concerned more about public health than private wealth. Dream of lawyers more concerned about justice and the judgeship. Dream of preachers who are concerned more about prophecy than profiteering. Dream on the high road with sound values. You must never surrender to inequality. Women.
Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the black church, how we deal with black women development that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass black march, black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all No Kings marches and all. But the black organization march, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award, and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning, because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this bill. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is.
You're live, Riz.
So let us keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams II is our co-host. Let me remind you, people are signing up, and we really gonna hit the mark where we're gonna have to close down because we started at over 8,000 and change when I got in this morning. We are seeing people sign up. I expanded all the ballroom space because we are well over what we thought when we had put a limit at 5,000. But I'm going to accommodate them, but I'm going to have to close down after this. So make sure you have signed up. And let me tell you, this is the 35th year anniversary of National Action Network. We intend to show some real strength and unity and an action plan. We started this organization in 1991, less than $200, 12 of us. And now we built it into this force in 132 cities, offices all over the country. But we didn't do that to say we got a big organization. We did that to make a difference. So be at the convention, April 8th through the 11th. If you can't come through the whole convention part that you can, 1 day, 2 days, half a day. And I'm doing little by little, letting you know now for the first time today some of the people that'll be there, because I didn't want people to say, oh, they're getting thousands because of the big names. No, I haven't announced anybody till today. But among those, and I'm giving you little by little, among those that will be there will be the governor of Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Pennsylvania, Governor Shapiro, Governor Hochul of New York. There'll be some more governors. I won't give you all of them now. We will have the Honorable Pete Buttigieg, former Secretary of Transportation, and, of course, former candidate for president. The Honorable Al Green, the fiery Al Green, the Texas. You've seen him stand up to Trump during the State of the Union addresses. He'll be there. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, who stood up against ICE in Newark, was arrested. She'll be there. Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland of Washington. Congressman Ro Khanna, who's been leading the fight, the exposés on the Epstein files. He'll be there in person. And Martin Luther King III, of course, Billy Porter, the rock singer. He'll be there. His brother is crossed over like none other. And, of course, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson will be leading our Black Scholars panel. And at our ministers' luncheon, our W.A. Jones Memorial Luncheon, Reverend Williams, the speaker, will be the one and only phenomenal preacher, Reverend Howard John Wesley of Alfred Street. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Howard Street, of Alfred Street in Virginia. And I've got a lot more. I'll give a little each day. Let me also remind you, tomorrow and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. Somebody needs to be on the airways locking down these senators on what is going on with the SAVE Act, with the extension of the Obamacare or Affordable Care Act, which is already postponed. What are we doing about blocking this $200 billion going to Iran, and how we get DHS funded without funding ICE so the workers can go back to work at TSA. I was in three airports over the last 2 days traveling to Houston and then to Kansas City, back New York, and it is insane. That's the only way I can say it, what they're allowing to happen. These people are ruthless, working these people that are securing the homeland for real. You don't know who goes through these airports. And they talk about hidden cells and all of that. And now you're going to play with TSA workers? saying you're not going to let it go through unless they allow the SAVE Act to go through. We're not putting on enough pressure. That's why this NAN convention is important. I think a lot of us forgot how to fight. And some of us never fought and never made any movement other than moving our lips to talk about nothing. So make sure you check out Politics Nation, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And you that are in the New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in the morning. I'll be there 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the historic Mother AME Zion Church, 137th, between Lenox and 7th. You that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television, on live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can go to YouTube/NAN. You have 3 ways, and Facebook as well, 4 ways to watch the rally if you're around different parts of the world. But if you're in town, you should be at the rally. Reverend Williams, what's going on at Detroit National Action Network Saturday morning, tomorrow?
Well, Rev, we are preparing for a very, very busy year. As you well know, we got a gubernatorial race, a senatorial race, as well as we've got a lot of work to do around the SAVE Act, as well as many of the issues that are going on. We expect to hear from Haley Stevens, who will be coming to the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally. We expect to get our continued reports, but more importantly, we expect to see you, because if you'd like to join us at the National Action Network National Convention, we do have a caravan of individuals who are leaving together by way of transportation, bus transportation, and then there are those who are going to be on that morning flight on the way to LGA with me. So you can join us tomorrow 10 a.m. at the historic King Solomon Baptist Church, 6100 14th Street, 10 a.m. For the National Action Network Michigan Saturday Action Rally.
All right. Let's go back to the phones. And I know the Reverend Cabanis and our great chapter leader in Cleveland are at the funeral services for our dear friend, a great civil rights champion, Reverend Hilton Smith. And
yes.
I know that Reverend Smith's funeral is going a little later, so we will not hear from Bishop Cabanis or Marcia McCoy today, but they're where they're supposed to be, right there, giving a beautiful homegoing to Reverend Hilton Smith of Cleveland, a great man, he was always there, no matter what we did or do, and they are funeralizing him at Abyssinia there in Cleveland. Let's go to Yassa in Atlanta, Georgia. Yassa, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams.
Reverend Williams, Reverend Sharpton. Greetings. Glad you're doing well. I'm a little frustrated with the people of America that look like me right now, because I keep hearing us dividing ourselves over voting for people who are plainly unworthy. These are colonizers that have been here for a few years, and there is no fixing this with a vote. I'd really rather hear our leadership talking about which of these people need to be removed permanently, because these people are killing people. These people are ready to kill us.
When you say remove permanently, what are you saying?
Remove permanently. However you want to take that down.
Then call some other show. We cannot do that on this show. I remove you off the airwaves. You are certainly either misguided or an agent, because we don't talk about permanently removing anybody. So, I mean, and if you were serious about that, you wouldn't be calling up a radio show. So let's not play games, Yassa. Let's not play games. We're not talking about removing anybody permanently, because that can be connotated to be talking about harming somebody. And we don't condone that, support that, and denounce it. And if you were serious, you wouldn't be calling a radio station. So it's got to make me suspect as what your motive is. Let me get this right. Under the age of Trump, in Homeland Security. You gonna call a radio station and say that, and I'm not think you trying to set up this show. You can't be that silly. We don't remove anybody permanently. We remove people politically, and we don't let that go. That one I'm not gonna let go. So no.
You right.
I think you gotta be very, very careful. And I understand people's anger, but anger doesn't drive you into being crazy.
That's right. That's right.
Let's go to Geralda in Brooklyn, New York. Geralda.
Good afternoon. Geralda here, keeping it real.
Good afternoon.
I want to acknowledge our inventors for Black Women History Month. Dr. Gladys West, who invented the GPS system. Maria Brown, who was a nurse that invented closed circuit TV. And Professor James Lawson, that invented or acknowledged gamma rays. All three of those inventions are by Black persons. I have to mention the man, even though this is Black History Month, but their technology is what's being used today in everything that we use. Now, Maria Brown, that invented closed circuit TV, and Professor Lawson. Professor Lawson, his inventions was demonstrated on Star Trek with the wireless earpiece, the wireless communication devices that was used, and also the televisions that we see in the Jetsons, even the Jetsons, that was always a phenomenon for our generation, Reverend, and mine. Yeah, well, me. And we need to let our Black children know that these people were still alive here in this century. They recently passed, some of them. I'm not sure if Professor Lawson is still around. But these are inventors that our children should know. We have so many of them that were never mentioned in history. When we were going to school, Rev, we saw all these items being displayed in movies and so on and so forth, and they were never explained to us in high school or elementary school that Black inventors were behind all that.
All right,
So,
got to go. Thank you for your call. Let me thank all of you that called in. Let me thank first Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real.